Right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's On the Sofa. Thank you for watching. Tonight we have the privilege even of having Anthony Grant with us, who I will bring on shortly. Just a couple of things. Crawley tickets for the game mid-November, beginning of December, are going on sale to people with 360 points tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Season ticket holders on Thursday at 10, and general sale to everyone else next Tuesday at, I believe, 12 o'clock. A couple of other things. Next Monday, the 14th, we've got a bit of a special event going on. We're taking our Monday night panel out on the road. So we're going to go to Marlborough Town Football Club. This is part of our fans group that we're trying to set up hubs around the country so people can feel involved if they're not able to get to the county ground for games and such like. So to start that all off, we're doing a special one in Marlborough. Anybody is invited to come along. Don't have to be a member of the OSC. Just come along. We're going to do the Monday night panel first, hopefully, if it all works out, and then we'll have a bit of a social afterwards. So if there is anybody that you know that does support Swindon but can't get to county ground, but they could get down to Marlborough Town Football Club next Monday, please let them know and they can join us. If people can get there about 6:45, so ready for the start of the Monday night panel at 7, and then we hope to finish 9 o'clock, 9:15, so not a late night. Okay, and just a reminder that next Saturday, Tranmere game, it's a dedicated HMS Forces Day. So there will be the minute silence and things like that. Okay, and we're also going to be launching something from the USC and an affiliate group for the HMS Forces. So that's exciting. We'll give you more details on that. So that's all from me. Let me bring Vic on. Hi, Vic.
Hi, Chris. A very good evening to you. Trust all is well.
All is absolutely fantastic. Yes, thank you.
Marvellous. And
not on the Saturday.
No, Saturday. I had the great pleasure of being at Torquay yesterday, which is a cracking game.
Of course, yes.
So, yes, that sort of eased it a little bit, shall we
say. Exactly.
Yeah, go on.
Carry on, sorry. No, I was just going to say, I hope somebody will be watching the draw so that we can find out who Chippenham Town have drawn in the FA Cup, seeing as that's our local one to be supporting now. So
yeah, as long as it's not Stockport, that really would be. Just to say on the subject of Crawley, the SAS will be open for phone bookings only from 7 o'clock tomorrow night. But I think it's fair to say, before you book with SAS Travel, make sure you've got a match ticket first. That's the criteria, really. All the ways of getting in touch with SAS Travel are on the OSC website. So you'll be able to find out phone numbers and things there. So that's from 7 o'clock tomorrow night, open for Crawley bookings.
there is quite a lot of tickets being allocated. I think it's 1,000 terracing and 140 odd for seated, if I'm correct. So there are tickets, quite a few tickets available. Right, Mr. Grant has been patiently waiting in the background, so I'm going to bring him on. Hi, Anthony.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Can't
Good.
complain.
Fantastic. Good to see you anyway.
Good
Right,
to see
I'm
you
going to leave
too.
you quick. Any questions, please leave them in the comments. We'll get through as many as we can. As I always say, any we don't get through, we will compile them and send them on to Anthony so he can see them anyway. Okay? All right, I will leave you to it and I'll speak to you later.
Chris, thanks very
Chris.
much indeed. And Anthony Grant, it's a great pleasure to have you back on. The last time we had you on one of these things, we presented you with the Player of the Season trophy, you might well remember, in that bizarre time of our lives when we weren't able to celebrate anything. It seems a long time ago now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does seem a long time ago. It was a shame that we couldn't involve the fans and have a parade and all that, but we move on.
We do. Let's talk about you then. What are you doing at the minute? Because obviously, you know, you finished with Scunthorpe. What are you up to these days?
I've had a few offers, but nothing that tickles my fancy, especially from up north. Obviously, I want to be closer to home, so I'm just relaxing at the moment, enjoying life.
Lovely. Very well. Don't blame me. We're just having a little trouble with your microphone. Sounds a little bit wobbly, but we'll get through it. It's all right, if that's okay. Just do a bit of adjustment. We'll see how that goes. Let's go right back then to the start of your career. Chelsea is where it all began for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was there from 7 till 21, and yeah, it was a good experience, obviously.
So how did that come about?
I was playing for my local church team, and Chelsea come to watch me when I was like 7, and obviously they wanted to sign me there and then, and they didn't have the paperwork. So then, obviously, the next time I was playing, there was like another 20 clubs that found out, and they all came back the next Saturday. But because Chelsea came last week, I just thought I'll just go with Chelsea.
Did you have an affiliation to Chelsea, or who were your club when you were a boy?
I didn't really have a club when I was a boy. My mum supports Arsenal, so if Arsenal were doing well, like what I used to look at, so if Swindon had won, I'd look for the Arsenal score, and then obviously if they won, then obviously I know my mum would be happy that Swindon have won and Arsenal have won, so then it'll be a happy weekend for her.
Well, Arsenal-Chelsea yesterday, of course, which is an odd thing. Well done to Arsenal, top of the league. So that's a pretty good thing to be, isn't it?
Yeah, Mumsy's buzzing. She's over the moon at the moment.
I bet she is. So you did actually get into the Premier League. You did make a Premier League appearance, didn't you? Albeit briefly. Can you remember that?
Yeah, I can. Obviously, I didn't realise how young I was until I'd grown up till I got to about 27, 28, where I realised I was a baby and I was only 17. And obviously it was a massive achievement from what I, obviously being there from 7, obviously you want to make your debut for the club that you've been at, and no matter how long or short it was always a pleasure.
So to have actually played in the Premier League, albeit briefly, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, you've always got that on your CV.
Oh, it's more than a thing if it's at Old Trafford as well, Vic.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
If it was at like Charlton away, or when they were in the Prem, or Blackburn away, then it's not the same feeling, is it? When someone asks you, "Oh, where did you make your Prem debut?" You go, "Old Trafford."
Not bad.
It's not bad.
That was a 3-1 win, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's something Ronaldo, Rooney, all of them played as well. So no, it was a good experience. And obviously, the older I've got, I've realised it's more of achievement actually just making that single appearance, and some people don't get nowhere near it.
Absolutely. I mean, what's it like? I mean, it's when you get into a Premier League club, and you know, there's a great film called Bull Durham about baseball, and they say, well, you know, when you go up to the majors, there are people who carry your bags, you know, things like that. Is it like that in the Premier League? How does that all work?
Obviously, my first time going, we used to share rooms. So obviously, whenever we're going to share rooms, and then I had my own room, and then obviously I'm used to like probably a double bed. It was like a bed that could probably fit about 10 people in. And obviously, rooms, everything was just room service was free, and then obviously it was just hectic and crazy. And obviously I was young, so it was just weird. It was just weird to me.
So, having done that, how did you feel? It didn't quite work out at Chelsea. You had a lot of loans as well, didn't you? So, how did you deal with that? Because it is your dream to play in the Premier League. Every footballer's dream, isn't it?
Yeah, it was one of them where obviously before Roman Abramovich come in, there was no money there, so it was like everyone would be getting a chance. Then he's come in, pump money in, and then Jose Mourinho's come in. He's giving me my chance. He ends up getting sacked or leaving. It's like pressing the restart button. You have to go all over again. You've got a new manager. He wants new players. And then things you got promised the year before, basically it's the reset button again. So it is hard. Because obviously in the Premier League, they're chopping and changing managers. So you got to find somewhere they cater for you and it's stable.
Well, I'm looking down the list of clubs that you went on loan to: Oldham, Wycombe, Luton, Southend permanently, Stevenage, Crewe, Port Vale, Peterborough you were at, and Shrewsbury, of course, and then Swindon. We had Michael Doughty on this last week, and he sends his regards, by the way, because you played with him, I think, briefly at Peterborough, didn't you?
Yeah.
As well. He said it was a very odd experience because you're moving from club to club. How was it for you?
No, it is an odd experience because obviously you want to be able to settle down and just, if I could spend the rest of my career at Chelsea, that would be wonderful. But you know, you have to move and adapt and different cultures of people living and different type of fans. It is hard, but it's what you get paid to do, really. I don't really complain. It's me and Doughty used to get on a train from Swindon back to London, and obviously it was quite easy, and that commute was quite good. And obviously you got on well on the pitch, and off the pitch you were cool.
Yeah, he described you as the best holding midfielder in the league, which is quite a compliment. And, you know, we were talking about his nicknames, the Wiltshire Perlo, and of course yours is the General and the number 42. How did that come about, that number 42? Because I think that goes back to your Chelsea days, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, obviously I want to thank Michael Doughty for that. Obviously it was a pleasure playing with him. He felt like I made his job easier, and obviously we complemented each other well, and I thought that was part of why we got to where we got to. And number 42, well, that was obviously I'd been doing well at Chelsea, and then I think they were playing a game on Tuesday night, Champions League, and then at half time my phone just keeps going off, and I'm thinking, what's going on? And obviously I didn't know, but they announced that I'd been given a squad number 42. And it's a coincidence that it's my nan's date of birth, 1942. So since then, I've literally tried to keep it as much as possible because obviously it's my nan's date of birth. And then obviously when I was at Chelsea, they changed from 42 to 31 because obviously I was with the first team. And obviously I was fuming, but you can't really, as a young kid, go, yeah, I want to keep number 42. They'll be like, who are you?
Well, we know who you are. There's no question about that. I've got lots of things coming in, and we're going to get to loads of these questions. This is from Adam. Here comes the General, absolutely a town legend, top guy, Granty. Welcome back anytime. Jack says, "Ooh, Anthony Grant." I was looking at some videos earlier, and there's a magnificent chant from the town name, which you must remember on those laps of honours around the ground after each victory.
Yeah, I've got one of them on my phone, and sometimes just look at it, and it's actually a pleasure. So it was a pleasure playing for Swindon, and the way the fans took to me after my first loan, and obviously signing and coming back, and no, it was a real good feeling just playing for Swindon.
Well, we'll get to the Swindon stuff in a minute. Alan says, a lovely man who met us and signed a shirt and stuff for Sun. Never be forgotten.
I'm only lovely sometimes.
I looked at one or two of your tackles. Brilliant tackles though they are. I wouldn't like to be on the receiving end of them.
Yeah, on the pitch, I'm not a nice guy, but off the pitch, I feel like I'm mellow and chilled and just try to interact as much as possible.
Well, I always remember a mate of mine. He does a lot of work for the Adam Stansfield Foundation. Sadly, of course, Adam Stansfield left us a few years ago, and he requested a signed shirt from you which I picked up from you at the county ground. And I always thought, you know what, that's a decent thing to do. You just did it without any problem whatsoever.
Do you know what it is? I get a lot of things, and even I was literally clearing my house out the other day, and I found something from Peterborough, a letter that someone asked me to send back, and I've literally just sent it back. So he's probably going to be thinking, like, 5 years later, 6 years later, how's this letter just suddenly appeared? You just get caught up with so many things and you forget to do so. But I do try to reply, I do try to reply to everyone, but it is hard. Hard.
Well, you did that, so that's fantastic. Lee says, absolute unit, be a great manager one day. We'll get onto that a little later.
No, keep my hair.
Yeah. Stockport County away at Charlton, by the way. You might well remember Stockport won on Saturday in the cup or something, I seem to think.
Oh, yeah, the draws on, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll let you know Chippenham get as soon as I can find out. Jim says, one of my favourite players, which considering I've supported the team for 35 years, is quite impressive. Adam says, be great to have him back as a coach one day, perhaps.
One day, maybe. One day,
maybe. Yeah. Right. Let's get on to some of the clubs that you played for. Out of all the loan signings you made, or loan deals that you went to, what were your favourite times?
What, at the club? Is that including Swindon or not including Swindon?
No, we'll get to Swindon later. So, you know.
Where did I go on loan?
You went to Southend and then you signed permanently for Southend.
So that's the only loan I had, apart from Swindon, basically.
Wickham?
Wickham was enjoyable, but obviously we got to the Carling Cup, of the semi-final of the Carling Cup, and we had Liverpool, Arsenal and Chelsea, and obviously I was on loan from Chelsea, so I couldn't play. So I smashed my PlayStation then. I was so angry. Yeah,
I was going to say, that was a semi-final as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I wrote to Jose numerous times, and he was just like, what if you score an own goal? And I was like, I'm a man, I can handle that. Obviously, I wasn't going to score an own goal, but he just tried to save my back, basically, and look after me.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I can imagine. Chippenham will be away to Burton in the next round of the FA Cup.
They've got a chance. I'll tell you that, if they win.
Yeah, they did well on Saturday, of course, beat Lincoln by a goal to 0. So they're away at Burton in round 2. So before you joined Swindon, of course, you played at Peterborough United. You won a Player of the Year at Port Vale, something that you would repeat at Swindon. So you must have enjoyed your time at Port Vale. You played, and you were joint captain, I think, with Ben Purkis, who also played for the town, weren't you?
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good to a point, because obviously there was a few offers in January. No, actually, after I signed, we played in a Carling. After 2 games, managers were already asking about me, and obviously the way I started the season was very. It's one of the best starts to the season I've probably had, because obviously I came to Swindon 6 games in, or 7 games in. But to a season at Port Vale, our home form was unbelievable, and we was around top of the league, and we played on TV against MK Dons, and I got MOM, and there was a few sniffs here and there, and obviously you know how chairmen are, they always want more money, so things just never materialised. But I'm one of them guys that I handed in a transfer request, I still turned up, I still tackled, knowing that I could get injured and my move could not happen, so I still done the right things, knowing that I wanted to leave, and I stayed another extra 6 months and then ended up leaving for Peterborough.
I guess the one thing you want to do is play football, isn't it? And be happy playing football. That's the main thing, that when you're a footballer, that's all you ask for, really. Yeah,
but this is what I said to my friend. Literally, when I was playing football when I was a kid, I didn't know anything about the money or anything. I just wanted to play football, so I didn't know how to get into teams and stuff like that. So in my head, I was like, when I'm old enough, I'm just going to go up to Sir Alex Ferguson and say, can I play for Man United, please? It was one of them. And then obviously the older you got, you realised what was in football. But even now, it's like, I'll go play for whatever. I'm not really arsed. I just want to go and enjoy football. It's not about all the political stuff that happens in football that people don't see. Obviously, a lot of fans, Lee Power, that was political. So obviously you've got to keep your head and come in every day and work hard. It's not just working hard for yourself, it's working hard for your family and all the fans that are coming to watch. So just got to get on with it, really.
Well, Shrewsbury then, are you able to talk about what happened at Shrewsbury? Because it didn't end well, did it?
Nah, there was just a few things that got said, and they tried to say it was me, and it wasn't me. But the manager was an egg. I'll be honest. The manager he's not even a manager. He was that bad. But obviously, he had no backbone, and that's what I mean. He told me I had to come and train at this time. I didn't sack it off. I just came in, I trained, and then Richie Wellens phoned me up, and obviously Salford wanted me at the time, and he was like, "Granty, you don't want to go there. You want to come here and win the league." And obviously, I think Salford offered me more money, but obviously Richie was like, "You'll come and play, we'll come and win the league." I was like, "Alright, cool. I'll see you next week." And then obviously I watched the Cheltenham-Swindon game where Doughty got sent off.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, oh God. And obviously I see Swindon go 1-0 up, so I'm buzzing, thinking, yeah, I'm going to come in. And they're winning, and then I think, what did it end 2-2?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then obviously I was watching that game, and then from there, just knew that I wanted to come here. Because I knew that I could add something to a team that was a very good team in the first place.
Because you were told to train with the youth team at Shrewsbury, weren't you? Sort of banished, really, from the first team.
Yeah, I was banished from the first team, but it's one of them where I didn't know the reasons why. I just said, okay. I went and trained the youth team. If you ask the youth team manager, came in every day, trained, set an example, and that was it. That's all I could do. I'm not gonna kick up stink, or I mean, even when Shona was in charge, I didn't kick up stink. It was just, if that's what you want me to do, that's what I'll do. Everyone's got this character of Granty Granty's this, Granty's that. Granty's not that. If you want to ask what I am, just ask me and I'll tell you what I am. I'm moody because obviously I want to win, but that's about it.
Well, let's talk about moving to Swindon then. And Kevin says, I remember your first game away to Leyton Orient. Knew you were then going to be a Swindon legend. Well, I remember that game as one of the best away performances I think I've seen Swindon give ever. And, I've watched them since '68. It was a fantastic performance. And Dion Conroy's family were all sat in the row in front of us. And, it must have been a great day for Dion. It was, you came on as a sub for Jordan Lydon, didn't you?
Yeah.
How good was it, that game?
It was weird because obviously I just come and then I was watching Swindon and they were popping the ball and I was like, "Why am I getting a team here? Team's flying." And then obviously Lydon went down. Manager said I was warming up anyway. But I don't know who. There was another midfielder on the bench, and in my head I was like, if the manager brings him on before me, knowing what I can produce, my head's gonna go. And obviously he's called me back, even though I was unfit because I hadn't trained hadn't done anything for 4 months properly or played a game. So I've come on, and obviously you lot say I've done well. And by the reviews that I was getting, I knew that for me, the reviews I was getting, everyone was going, "Oh, he's a beast, he's this. I'll give him an 8 out of 10, give him a 9 out of 10. And in my head, I was giving myself a 6, knowing that was a poor level performance. But I know I had more to give. So by the fans judging me on that, and they were happy, well, I don't know if they were happy, they were buzzing with it, I knew that I could push on and give 8s, 9s, even better performances. And that's what I've done throughout the season. I just pushed on and pushed on.
You certainly did. I mean, I always remember that day. It was baking hot as well. So if you haven't played a game for a while, it's not an ideal game to come into, really, is it?
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, what a performance. And I think it was 3-0 at the break, something like that.
Yeah, that helped. That helped.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Granted, it's Ben from Mercedes in Swindon. You were a proper player,
Ben.
but a better person. Thanks for everything. Mark says
Ben's top notch. I've got a lot of time for Ben.
Well, Mercedes, nice cars, if I might say so.
Yeah, they charge a lot, but I ain't got that anymore.
No. Have you back in a heartbeat, says Mark. Adam says, my son missed out walking out with you as was planned for the last home game of the championship season. Still his favourite player. Yeah.
Well, I'll ask him to message me and I'll give him a shirt from that season.
Wow. There you go then. That hopefully will make up for it. Behind me, there's a T-shirt. It says SDFC Champions from that year, a special T-shirt. And that season was magical for us supporters. When you first came in and you saw that Leyton Orient game, I think the next game was a 3-0 home victory, which you played in.
Macclesfield.
Yeah.
Did
you then suddenly think, do you know what? Yeah, this is a team?
No, I could see from, I think I trained Friday, where did I train? Trained in Barnet. I think we trained in Barnet and then went to Leyton Orient. And just from then, and just like the team morale and just even individual, when you got individual players that play as a team as well, like you had Doyler, Doughty, Keshi, Isgrove, you had Dion at the back, Zeki. They're all individual, very good players. You put them in a team, and then obviously, and then you add me to that. Jerry Yates, I spoke to him the other day. Yeah, Yatesy, Hunty's level of performance, playing right back, left back, right over free, and then bringing in Paul Catt. It only adds up to if the team wants to get promoted and wants to go out there and win. So that's what I put it down to.
And how was it with Richie Wellens? How did you enjoy playing under him?
Obviously, I was with him when I was on loan at Oldham, but obviously I know his character, and the whole time we was there, obviously we still speak now, but it's like, I think we fell out once. We didn't really fall out. It was one of them where we was playing Grimsby at home, and he said I didn't want the ball, and me, I always want the ball. Like, no matter who, if there's two men up me, I will still want the ball. If someone's in trouble, give me the ball, I'll deal with it. And he had a go at me. I was like, what are you talking? And then half time, he had a go at me at half time. I was thinking, I'd just shaking my head, and then went out. We scored straight away. Obviously, I went around smashing people because my head was gone. Went 1-0 up. Everyone celebrated. I didn't celebrate, and he shouted at me at half time. I mean, from the byline. And then go 2-0 up. I didn't celebrate again. And he's just, just playing the game. And then obviously afterwards, it just got put to bed. But no, he's a top manager. As you can see, what he's doing at Leyton Orient. I still think our Swindon team would back that Leyton Orient team. But yeah, he's doing a good job. And he always will do a good job because he knows he's got a good eye for a player and the way he wants to play football.
Yeah, it didn't quite work out for him at Salford and Doncaster, did it? But I mean, it certainly it does look as though things are going to work out for him at Leyton Orient, which is great to know. Lots still coming in. Sean says, legend, Anthony Grant. Andrew says, thanks, remember his debut. Orient away, came on a sub for Jordan Lydon and slotted in immediately. One of my favourite players of all time. See, it's a bit like Michael Doughty last week. It turned into a bit of a love fest, quite frankly. And let's skip forward a bit, and then we'll come back to more of the Swindon thing. But you came back, of course, with Scunthorpe, and Andy sent me a message earlier this week, and he said, "How did you feel about that reception?"
I've seen the message. No, it was obviously I didn't. It was always up to me if I wanted to leave Swindon or not. So obviously I got on well with the chairman, Clem, and he phoned me and said, "Granny, what do you want to do?" I just said, "I just want to play football." Now I've gone on representing my country, and I've come back and I'm not playing for some reason. Don't know why. Not be giving no answers, but I just want to play football. He said, "Well, it's up to you. I'm not going to muck you around. The fans love you. I love you. I'll give you your blessing if you want to leave." Well, so I don't want to leave, but I just want to play football. So I just said, obviously, Scunny was there, and obviously, once I announced my contract had basically mutual consent, I had lots more offers, but I already signed for Scunthorpe by then, and I knew I was coming back because obviously I looked at the fixtures, and it was just weird because obviously the fans singing my name, it was just like even our players, they couldn't believe it. The Scunthorpe players couldn't believe it, the manager was just laughing. But no, it was emotional because obviously the time here was very, very good. Probably up there with one of the highlights of my career.
Yeah, I remember there were sort of bed sheets with Grant number 42 on and things like that. It was a great day.
No, it was, but I mean, it was even when defending a corner and they're singing, "Oh, Anthony Grant," I'm thinking, what are the Swindon players gonna be thinking of this? Like it's just it was mental. It was mental.
It's a very rare accolade. I remember Steve White coming back with Hereford and scoring a goal for Hereford and getting a standing ovation at the county ground, which is, it's such a rare thing that a former player comes back and gets that sort of respect.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, if I had scored, I don't know what I would have done because I would have celebrated, but I think I would have been in shock myself and just looked around and tried to hide or something because I can't be doing that, can I? Really and truly.
Danny says, General, absolutely love watching you own the midfield, particularly in the promotion season. Not seen anyone play that role so well at Swindon. Legend. Let's talk about a bit more about that.
Thank you.
That season. Oh, and by the way, Adam, about the shirt that you said.
Yeah.
He says that would be absolutely amazing. He's buzzing. Thank you, Grunty. So we'll get that message to you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just tell him to message me on Twitter or Instagram, and I'll get hold of it later on after I've done what I needed to do. Sorry, I'm just trying to look at the FA Cup draw while I'm talking to you.
That's all right. Don't worry. Yeah, who are you particularly interested in?
No, I just want to see what some of the non-league teams get, if they get another non-league team, if they can get to the third round or not.
Well, while you do that as well, let's go back then, because I remember saying to you, we mentioned Crawley earlier, of course, because tickets go on sale tomorrow for Crawley. If you remember that fantastic 4-0 away performance on the Saturday, a very filthy Saturday. But before that, I remember you saying that one of the most crucial games that season was a 1-0 win against Stevenage on the Tuesday night.
Oh, yes, it definitely was, because we went through a little bit of a bad patch and we had our centre-backs injured, and I think we went to Bradford and we didn't get beat up, we basically played with 3-4 players. We had 11 players, we played, some players were so bad that day that we basically played with 3-4 players. And then obviously you're looking around thinking, where's the season going? And then Richie just said, basically get back to basics, be patient. And we was patient. I think Dyder scored in a 90-something minute, but we carried on doing what we was doing. And once you get belief in the whole squad to believe in what the manager's doing and the players are doing, then it's second to none. And that's why I think we went on a 10-game winning streak, because we just turning up. Didn't matter who was starting. We could have put Richie in midfield probably, and we still would have won the games because we was that good, and everyone knew what they were doing, and everyone was on the same wavelength. And just coming in and training, everyone was buzzing, smiling. Jerry was obviously the loudest in the room because that's just Jerry. But yeah.
Yeah, and Paul Caddis got added as well, didn't he? In around about November, if I remember rightly. So he'd already won a championship with Swindon, so a little bit of extra experience coming in.
No, Caddis, what a guy. On and off the field, you could see the quality he brought, even at his age. And even when I think it was against Crewe. I think it was Izzy right wing back, me. No, was it Izzy? I don't know. It was me, Hunty, Broadbent against Crewe.
Might well be right, yeah.
And then Izzy left wing back or something, and Cad's right wing back. So it just shows that he can play anywhere, and his knowledge. And I'm surprised. I'm not surprised he's assistant manager or coach at Fleetwood and adding his experience to that squad.
I mentioned the Crawley game, and it was a fabulous performance. Lloyd Isgrove got an injury in that one, if you remember the tackle he made.
Is he made a tackle?
Yeah, well, sadly, it meant he was out for a few months. So yeah, but it was a great game, wasn't it? I mean, I remember it was a filthy day, and I said to you when we gave the awards out that you spent about an hour afterwards signing autographs to people. I mean, how good was that performance?
Do you know what? It was that good. I got phone calls afterwards from players and ex-players, saying, "What have you done? What did you do to Crawley?" And I just said, to be fair, that day I actually took the mick because, do you know what, with me, I go into every game thinking, obviously I knew that I was the best, like that I said, I knew I was the best midfielder in the league, holding midfielder in the league, but you can't go out there with that mentality. So I used to go out there with the mentality that he thinks he's better than me, managers think he's better than me, I've got to show. But everything I do first, I've got to do well. And my first pass was off. And I was thinking, oh, not one of them days. So then the other midfielder, for the next 5 minutes, I didn't even go for the ball. I was just kicking him, slapping him, slapping him. And he was getting frustrated. And then obviously I set up the goal. And then from then, it just escalated into 4-0, basically. And we were just on top.
Yeah, what do you remember about the goal for Owen Doyle? Because it was a wonderful ball across the box. I mean, I watched it again this afternoon. I mean, wow. You know, talk about laying it on a plate. It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, Doyle thanked me for that. Still hasn't paid me any money. No, I'm joking. No, obviously, Richie didn't really want me going too far forward, but I just saw a chance just to intercept the ball, chest it, and obviously, with Doyle in the box with his ginger hair, couldn't miss him, really.
I remember you saying you just wanted to see what it was like up at that end of the pitch. But
yeah, they don't have to do anything. They just have to stand up there, receive the ball from everyone else, and just don't really have to run back. And they get all the credit for putting it in the back of the
net. Emma says, my little girl cried when I told her you'd gone. She's only 5.
Oh,
she spoke to you in the car park, wanted you to sign her squad poster, but it was taken while you were away, so signed in the corner. That Crawley day he was desperate to find his mum at the end, just fabulous. Is that right? You were looking for your mum?
Yeah, my mum tries to come to every game she can, and obviously she's probably the biggest influence in my life. So every time she comes, I just try to find her and say hello after the game. Thank her for coming.
From there, of course, the team went from strength to strength, and I say this to everybody that we talk to about it, but that Plymouth game really was the absolute, statement, wasn't it? There they were opening their new stand that day, thinking, this will be great. It's a filthy day too. New Year's Day. Owen Doyle was going to go back the next day, which none of us knew, of course. Jerry Yates was going back. But that win was fabulous, wasn't it?
Yeah, with me, I'm trying to think of the back four then. I think the back four was me, Zeki, Hunty. Hunty was left back. Yeah, so Cads, me, Zeki, Hunty. And he had Rosie and Leiden in midfield. I think now.
Because Michael Doughty was annoyed because he actually wasn't starting. He didn't start that game, but he came on as a sub.
Doughty, he wants to start every game, and that's the thing. But his ability, I understand why he wants to start every game. But obviously, he came on and he done the business. And sometimes that's what you need to do. But it's hard. It's hard for players when they feel like they should be playing every game. And obviously, I understand because he probably thinks or knows that he's a better midfielder than Rosie or Leiden, but that's why I'm not the manager and just let Richie pick the
team. Well, they went in front, if you remember, and then DJ got a great equaliser, the shot off the post. And then there's that magical moment in the second half in front of the town fans, whilst all the Plymouth fans in their new stand were getting a little bit wet, to say the least. And the ball, you're involved in the move, and then it comes to Cads, and he puts the cross in, and then Owen Doyle just side foots it into the corner of there. That was a moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's a great moment. And all I remember, obviously, I knew I was on a yellow because I wanted. If I were on a yellow, I'm jumping in the stand and going to the top of the stand and jumping all the way back down. But obviously, I knew I was on a yellow, so that's why I just stood there with my arms up in the air, and then I just see Jonah, the kit man, and Steve, and it just felt like we was in our own backyard and just celebrating promotion.
How important was that result, would you say? Because after there was a little sticky patch which came a little later in the season, but was that the one where you thought, yeah, we're going to win the league here? Is that the one?
Yeah, because obviously when you're beating teams, anyone can beat the teams at the bottom and stuff like that. But when you're beating teams around you, Like Crew, I think Crew was second when we beat them, and Plymouth were third when we beat them. It's a massive statement, because then that's a game where that's 2 games we're further away from them, and they're just thinking, they're looking at our results. Are they going to lose? And they're thinking, oh, we've won this week. What's Swindon doing? Oh, they've won again. They won again. It's just defeating. So us just winning there was a massive statement that
Doyle goes back, Yates goes back, and then eventually they do come back. And then there's that game against Exeter, which I always remember. I always remember you going around conducting the crowd for the Ginger Palais song. And what an atmosphere! I mean, how many atmospheres have you played like in your career in that sort of atmosphere? How many times have you done that?
To be fair, Plymouth at home was unbelievable. Well, who was it? 1-1?
Yeah, 1 each. Yeah,
1-1. That was unbelievable. I felt cool. The thing is, when we were winning at home, or even playing well, like the atmosphere at the County Ground was good. But the away fans, when they're travelling in their numbers, especially at away grounds, and they're out singing the away fans, it's an unbelievable feeling. Unbelievable feeling. Just thinking about it. I think it's Salford away. Was Salford away?
Yeah.
We went 1-0 down. Bender decided to give away a penny. What a keeper, by the way.
Yeah.
What a guy as well. Nice guy. Yeah, 3-2 it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that atmosphere there, that season, I can't fault the fans from Leyton Orient away all the way through. Like, obviously, there was blips. Fans are allowed to have to say what they want to say. They're fans. They pay their money. They can say what they want to say. But I think the boys reacted well to the manager and would have got the job done either way.
I mean, obviously, the season turns out, for reasons we're all aware of, not to end. And, you know, in the great scheme of things, okay, a football season ends early, but people lose their lives. So, you know, that's a little bit more, well, a lot more serious. But how were you with that? How did you feel about that whole experience?
No, it was weird, but obviously people's health comes before football. You can't just expect football to carry on and the whole world to stop. And football's the only thing that carries on. That doesn't make no sense. So it was weird, and obviously we didn't know what was going to happen. I would have rather carried on the season and had a parade and interacted with the fans and got a statue. No, I'm joking. Yeah, because obviously you play football for the fans and yourself and your family. So obviously some of them might never not see Swindon win a league again, and that was their season. And someone might have been watching that had died of COVID, so you just don't know. But Scott Lindsay's doing a good job right now. Like I said on commentary at Northampton, after that, I'm not Northampton, Stevenage, fans were saying Lindsay out, and I said it's harsh. Now I think you're sitting 4th, and in the playoffs,
4th or 5th, I think.
Yeah, 4th, yeah. So I mean, so things turn around quickly, and I'm sure that Stockport blip would just. It's a cup game. Anything can happen in a cup game. The focus is on the league, and hopefully you don't get promotion.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. And there's a question here, which let me have a look. Oh yeah, Michael Doughty said it's from Steve last week. He thought the current squad was going to win the league. It reminded him of the squad that you won the league with. Does the general share his opinion? I mean, from what you saw at Stevenage, it wasn't the best of days. Let's be honest. But do you get that same feeling or not?
So Doughty thinks this Swindon squad could win the league?
Yeah.
The reason I agree with him, but the two Swindon squads and the teams in this year's League Two compared to League Two over the years are completely different. But I get where Doughty's coming from. That Stevenage game, obviously I saw what I saw, but I've seen other games. You've got the players that Swindon have got. I say there's probably one area I'd say that needs something, and they would storm the league. But that's not for me to say. That's for you lot to work out and have your little little stuff on Twitter and stuff.
And our little conversations on the supporters bus on the way home, etc., etc. This is from Steve. Good evening, Vic. Just wanted to tell Anthony, in all my time watching Swindon, I've never seen a player turn out the performances he did for us. He seems to consume the opposition. Great player. Wish he was still here. That Stevenage game.
I'll be back. I'll be back in 2 weeks.
What, are you coming down or?
What game am I coming? I'm coming on the 19th. Crew, I think it's Crew Swindon.
Oh right, okay, excellent.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I remember that Stevenage game. You came into the away end, and I don't know if Halsey was getting a little bit worried whether you'd make it back in time for the commentary or not. But you had quite a few people taking pictures that day, didn't you?
Yeah, obviously, like I don't ask pictures for people, but I know some people like pictures, and if you can give a picture, it might make their day. They might be upset. They see me, they want a picture, autograph. Their whole day's changed just because they've seen me. So if I can make someone's day just by stopping, giving a picture, or even talking to them for 2 minutes, a minute, then I will do that.
Good. Sean says, always remember when I saw you at Weymouth outside train station, that pre-season friendly after the game. Me and my two boys just said, when are you coming back? And you still didn't know at the time, if memory serves me right. Because I think you were on trial, weren't you? To see if you could get a contract.
It was one of them where Mildy was like, Granny, do you fancy coming and helping us out? And I said, yeah, I'll come back, and obviously if Swindon need help, and obviously at the time they had 6 players, I'll come and play. And then obviously Clem saw me and pulled me and said, I want you to sign. The new manager's here watching, but it's not up to me, it's up to the new manager. And then the new managers, obviously I played that game at Peterborough at home, which was another crazy feeling because obviously it felt like there was 25,000 fans in there saying sign him up. And obviously the manager said, I like what I see. Since you've been in the building, you've been top notch. I want to sign you. So just went from there, really.
Yeah, I remember that Peterborough friendly. That was extraordinary. You played at Supermarine as well, didn't you? On that Tuesday night when Clem turned up, everybody was going, "Oh, Grant's here. What's going on?" It was great.
That's when Clem spoke to me.
Yeah. There we are then. Yeah. So let me take you though the following season after promotion. And you played for most of that season with an injury, did you not? An ankle injury. You're playing at centre half. We got lots of questions. How did you get on with Mr. Sheridan?
Well, he wanted to sign me in the summer. So
this summer just gone?
Yeah, and the summer before. But you know what? He's obviously, I know what Swindon fans think of him, but he's a weird character. I'll say that, but he is what he is. Every manager's different. You either hate him or is that Marmite. He didn't do too much. He didn't really do anything. But it's down to the players a little bit. But it's him. It's him. Did I get on with him? Just hello to him. He's a bit of a I didn't. Nah. I'm not beating around the bush. Nah, I didn't.
So you were out of the team for a while, weren't you? I mean, you were injured.
Yeah, but so this is what a lot of people didn't know. So obviously, when we started the season with Richie, I injured my right ankle. Well, it wasn't too bad, and then obviously I carried on with it. And then we played Bristol Rovers at home, and just before half time, I went down in the penny area and I felt my left ankle, but I didn't realise the extent of the damage. And obviously we had MK at half time. The physios and doctors said, "Granny, you can't carry on." I said, "I'm going to try." Like me, obviously doesn't matter if I'm injured. I'm going to try. So put my boot back on, strapped it up, and somehow got through the game. So they said, "Okay, Tuesday you're not playing." I said, "Okay." I said, "No, I'm playing Tuesday. I'll see how I feel on Sunday." They phoned me on Sunday. and I couldn't walk. And they said, "How do you feel?" And I said, "No, I'm fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine for Tuesday." Then they phoned me on Monday, and I still couldn't walk. And they're like, "How do you feel?" I said, "No, I'm fine." And it got to Tuesday, ended up playing. Don't know how. I couldn't move because I was in a boot as well. So I was literally wearing a boot from Saturday till Tuesday. Took the boot off on Tuesday, played the game, injured, and then they said you need to get a scan. And I said, "I'm not getting a scan. We got local derby against Oxford. I want to play." They said, "Grant, you can't play." I said, "No, I'm playing." So then I didn't train all week. I was in a boot, walking around in the boot. Got to Oxford, took the boot off, played. I was in agony. And then when I got the scan, I told them not to tell me what the scan says. And I'm just going to carry on. I wasn't training because I literally couldn't walk. It was weird. And then literally I played for the next 2 months with it. And then I went and saw the doctor, and the doctor absolutely told me that I was supposed to be out for 4 months with deltoid ankle ligament damage. And yeah, so when I wasn't getting around the field, I couldn't get around the field because I literally couldn't walk. But then if you knew who the manager was going to pick instead of me, it was one of them where if I didn't play, at least the team seeing my name on the team sheet, they're thinking, okay, Grant's there. But if you're going to see somebody else's name there that obviously the fans used to get onto all the time, he was a young boy, I couldn't let that happen. So I just put myself on the chopping block and just went with it, basically.
Well, you mentioned that game against that team that plays in yellow, a memorable day, of course. Tom Broadbent, who became super striker that day. I mean, you know, one of the great sadnesses really of that year, of course, is we couldn't go to games, but that was the game we would have all loved to have been at. I mean, boy, what a win that was, eh?
Nah, that obviously that was for the fans, that, because first half, obviously, I didn't think we played too bad, but all too well. We just hanging in there we just turned up. We didn't realise the extent of the derby, and obviously no one had won there in 100 million years or whatever.
Yeah.
So then when we did win there, and obviously I went home from there, and then I see the boys come back off the coach and the fans are at the stadium, then I feel like the boys knew what it really meant to the fans.
Well, I have to tell you, I live in a village in Devon, and I was running around the village in Devon shouting my head off after that game. and the neighbours were thinking, "Who is this madman?" But to be fair, I don't care really. Emma says, "What a man, Miss Granty."
I miss you too, Emma.
Come in the legends, says Helen. I guess you'll pop in the legends, won't you, when you're back? I guess.
Yeah, I'll try and get around. He pause. He lets me off his leash.
What a guy. Love the honesty, Granty. Wish we could have you back. Need that sort of player. Mitchell says, weren't you trying to keep playing until Lydon was back? Then he got injured again. Also, were you really out for that long with a concussion, or did he not fancy you and use it as an excuse? Now, should we get into your relationship with Ben Garner? And you've already mentioned the fact that you moved to Scunthorpe. Did you get on with Ben Garner?
Well, I did before I got called up for Jamaica, but obviously he congratulated me going, and obviously was over the moon. And then when I was out there, he messaged me and said, "Oh, we need to get you back quick as possible because we need you." And I thought, "Oh, I need to get back." And then before I even come back, because obviously I had to quarantine because of all the rules. Before I even come back, I was quarantining, and Jamaica called me up again. So he wasn't too happy. So obviously I walked into training when I've come back from quarantine, and obviously when you walk into training, you walk past the manager's office first. He said, "Oh, Grant, I need to speak to you after training." And he didn't want me to go to the second World Cup qualifiers. And he said, "What, you need to tell me what you want to do." And I was like, "Well, I'm 34 years of age. I might not get this opportunity again to play for my country." And I came back after that, and it just like, I could tell from when I was starting off the season, where I was playing, and I thought I was doing well, apart from the Mansfield game, I just wasn't getting a look in. And I was coming in training, can ask the boys there or not there. I was coming in training, working. I wasn't sacking off training. I was still running around, putting in tackles and getting on the ball. So that's just my character. So I don't know. You have to ask him.
It's interesting, isn't it? How, I mean, throughout your career, you mentioned earlier how the change of manager at Chelsea changes a player's fortunes, and how difficult is that to accept that managers suddenly just change their view and just? I mean, in any walk of life, managers seem to like some people more than other people, and God, I was in the radio business for 30 odd years. I know exactly what that's like, but how difficult is that for a footballer to take?
No, but so for me, this is the first time in my career I'd ever been in that position. So I've been playing from 17, 18, week in, week out, till 34. So the first time I'm on the bench was last year. It was the first time like I'd literally sat on the bench or not been in the squad. And I was like, what do I do with myself? Like, I've never been in this position before. But then I was like, how do players adapt to doing this every week? Either not being in the squad or sitting on the bench, not in favour. And obviously some people are happy just to sit there, pick up their money, and be like, oh yeah, I'm part of the squad, I'm a footballer. But I was like, obviously your mind starts working overtime. I wasn't depressed, but I understand why people go into depression, and obviously there's no support for certain things that happen, like being in this certain space and your mind doing this, that and the other. And obviously it was weird, but obviously when you've done nothing wrong, obviously from playing the first 7 games of the season, like one of the first names on the team sheet, and then you go to play for your country, and then you come back and you can't get in the team, but you've done nothing wrong, it doesn't add up. And the thing is, I was playing with Lewis Reed, so it looked like he really took my position. I was playing with him, but then obviously, then I realised managers have their favourites. No matter what you do, and you've got to do extra or beyond what the other person's doing to even get a sniff. And things happen in it. It is what it is. Like, Scott Lindsay's a top man. That's all I want to say. And that should tell you all by me saying Scott Lindsay is a top man.
Well, I think certainly there were thoughts about Scott Lindsay at the beginning of the season, but I think those have changed round now, and I think he's got the backing of most of the Swindon fans, which is great, and he is putting together a team. And my dealings with him, he's always come across as a very straightforward, honest bloke. So that's all you can ask for, isn't it, really?
And that's all you can ask for, is a straightforward, honest bloke like Scott Lindsay. So even when Scunthorpe played Swindon, Scott Lindsay, top honest bloke, even came up to me, Granny, you played very well. I wish you all the best. He's a top honest bloke. Like I said to him when I saw him at Stevenage away, he said he's got a lot of time for me, and I said I've got a lot of time for you. Same as with Steve Mullendall, top guys. Peacock, top guys, straight honest people.
You mentioned playing for your country. Right? Obviously Ben Garner wasn't too chuffed about it, but you don't get a lot. That's the biggest honour in football, isn't it, to play for your country?
Yeah, because when Mildy asked me to come back that season, I was thinking, obviously because of my injury, I was supposed to be out for 4 months, and what idiot plays on an injury throughout the whole season, and it literally only healed it took probably a year to heal, and I should have rested it for 4 months. So in my head, I was thinking, do I really want to go back to football because of my ankle? My ankle's in a bad way. And I thought, and then obviously I played that Peterborough game and I felt good. And I played, was it Scunthorpe? Yeah, Scunthorpe away. And we won. And I thought, I actually feel good. My body feels good. We won a few games. And then I got called up. So I'm thinking, maybe I can go an extra year. And, you know what I mean? And obviously I got called up, and at the time, I heard like rumblings of me getting called up and stuff like that, but obviously you hear stuff, and then Gardner made a joke, if we get three international call-ups, we're gonna have to call the game off. And I said, no, I might be getting called up for Jamaica, because you get called up for Jamaica, we're all going on holiday. So then obviously Johnny got called up for Wales, Kane got called up for England, and then he phoned me and goes, oh, Gardner, I thought you was joking. I said, no, I was being serious. And then obviously, once I was out there, it was like one of the best feelings ever. And even playing like against Mexico and things like that, and Costa Rica, it was just unbelievable feeling. Obviously, it made all my family happy in Jamaica. Obviously, my mum, my nan, the whole of Jamaica went mad. Even all the family over here. So I don't have any regrets, because I could have said no to Jamaica, played a few more games for Swindon, and then got put in the same position of not being in the squad. And then you never know, you know what I mean? So don't live life with regrets. And I enjoyed it. My family enjoyed it. My son loved me playing for my country. All he talks about is Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica. So it's made him proud, and decided to go to school about it, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Well, you're an international footballer. Hey, you know, it's on your CV, isn't it? And you know,
no disrespect. Would I rather go to Stevenage away or go to Mexico, where there's 100? Well, there's supposed to be 120k fans. But if one person picks Stevenage, they're not right in the head.
No, I understand that, and I think everybody, you know, would understand that. If you get a chance to play for your country, you're going to do it. You played also for England under 16, under 17, under 19 as well, didn't you? So, you know, you've had your fair share of caps, haven't you?
Yeah, no, international football is very tactical, and it's completely different to club football. But it's a great feeling just standing there doing the national anthem and getting the recognition of being one of the best in your country for your position. And even when I was playing for England, like, even when I was going for England, and some of the boys there were like, Guardy, you're unbelievable. Like, you're a joke. And that's coming from other top players that I've played in the Prem as that. So, no, it's playing for your country. Like, it's the best feeling ever. Best feeling ever. I can't wait to go back to Jamaica. I'll probably go back on my birthday, to be fair.
That's in June, so nice time of year to go. So, Swindon Player of the Year, of course, you shared those trophies with Doyle that night in that very strange and bizarre ceremony. I think Maximilian, was it, made a brief appearance, did he, your little boy?
Yeah, I've had to tell him today to stay downstairs and just watch Disney. And he was like, Daddy, you can do it downstairs. I'll be quiet. And I said, so what about your kids' TV? It's going to be loud. He goes, oh yeah, sorry, Daddy. Okay, you go upstairs.
Marvellous. You've been banished to your bedroom by your son. Fantastic. Malcolm says, what an honour and experience to play for your country. Can't believe you didn't have the chance with us, but always welcome back. So you're back with Horsey then for Crewe. So
yeah, for Crewe.
At the minute, it's just having a bit of time off. Are you planning to get back in the game at all? Is that a possibility? Or
no, there's been offers, and literally, if I showed you my phone, there's been offers. Where sometimes, like, obviously, I see my daughter. My daughter's been ill, and literally the last week there's been offers. I've just literally been looking after my daughter, because obviously she's been ill, but she's better now, and there's no rush. And obviously, I've got a meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday. I got a meeting on Wednesday at one of my old clubs. I don't want to say who, because then I'll probably get messages, because obviously it's obvious who the club is. But yeah, I got meetings there, and we'll just see, because obviously I know I can still play, because I've been training at a club anyway just to keep fit. So if the manager said to me tomorrow, like, you're on the bench and I'm waiting to come and play here, whatever, I could go and play. And obviously I was supposed to sign for someone 2 weeks ago, but then the chairman put a hold on signings because the squad's got 40 players, and obviously he wants players out before players come in. So there's teams that still want me, but I'm just buying my time. If nothing happens. I'll just go non-league or whatever and just go and enjoy football.
Yeah, because you're a free agent, so I guess that the transfer window doesn't come into this. You can sign for whoever you want to, I guess.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
obviously I'm picking my son up from school. I was able to go to his sports day at the end of the year. I was able to just do stuff with him without having to wake up early and worry about him crying, "Daddy, when are you coming back?" Blah 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 blah. So no, it's been good. Like obviously it's a weird feeling, but it's a feeling that I was trying to get used to last year before Mildy called me. So knowing that it could have been coming this year, I'm kind of in the right mind frame and set for it. You know what I mean? But that's something I've been keeping myself busy training at a club anyway, in non-league, in the national league. So I'm fit and my ankle feels good, so I'm all good.
Well, I think you can tell from tonight that you got a lot of love at Swindon Town, and pop into the supporters club table and have a word with us, will you, when you're down there for the crew game in the Legends Lounge? It'd be lovely to see you.
Yeah, I'll be up there nice and early anyway. So if I have to just walk around and talk to people before, I will do, and I'll be staying afterwards as well. Hi, Chris.
Hiya.
Well, it's been fantastic talking to you. Thank you ever so much for joining us. And I think every Swindon fan remembers that team with great fondness. I've seen the League Cup final in '69, lots of promotions, lots of relegations, but that team always has a special place in Swindon fans' heart, the one that you were involved in. I think that's true to say, Chris, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I think that'll be go down with the '69 squad, I think, as well. So yeah. So no,
thank you. I much appreciate that.
No,
I appreciate
thank you very much for being on tonight, Anthony. If you just stay where you are for a minute, we'll just finish off and then we'll come and say goodbye to you off air. So
okay, thank you, Chris.
Okay, so thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Fantastic evening. We will be back, as we said, next Monday over at Marlborough Town Football Club. So if anybody's out that way, please come and join us. Hope the technologies work. Vic and I will be there praying that it all works out, but I'm sure it'll be okay. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next week. Thank you.